Well, I'm delighted to say that a friend of talkSPORT 2, talkSPORT's cricket output is with us now, Abhishek Jhunjhunwala. In India at the moment, you're on the Legends League tour. You were
Yeah,
playing, weren't you? You were
I
playing
was.
last time. Have you been demoted to the
No,
commentary, or are you
I
playing this
have
time?
because unfortunately my base price apparently was too high for them to buy me, and then I was offered to play at a cheaper option. And you know me, John. Yeah, I don't play for
Wow,
cheap.
you know your worth, Abhishek, and you're right.
Got to. You got to.
I was cheering you on when you played last time. You didn't play, and then you hit 80 odd. I was like,
Yeah,
yes, he's
yeah,
back. And then you were dropped
yeah. No, I
madly for the
wasn't
next
dropped.
game.
There's a story behind it.
Go
They
on.
forgot to write my name on the team sheet, and
Oh,
I was padded up to bat at number three, and I saw a lot of people discussing a lot of chaos going on, and I didn't know what's going on, to be honest, till then. And then the coach walked up to me, said, "Mate, I'm really sorry, but I have to break a news to you." I'm like, "What happened?" "But your name is not on the team sheet. We forgot to write your name."
it's quite a long name.
To be honest, yeah, yeah,
They
fair.
just gave up. That
They
it's
just
like
was
that
like, nah,
bloke.
nah, too long, too many letters. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
But you're on the side. I mean, I saw some photos. Georgie Heatham's out there with you as well. She's doing
Yeah.
commentary. I mean, the crowds for it they look balmy.
Oh, it's crazy. At the moment, I think there will be 15, 20,000 people coming and watching every game. It's amazing. And also the way they do it in the smaller cities, tier two, tier three cities. So they target the right audience for it as well. But again, you've got some of the biggest names in the industry playing, and people will come and watch.
Oh, mate, it looks great. It looks absolutely great. We kind of had one this year, didn't we? You were doing commentary for it up at Edgbaston, and then suddenly it
Yes.
moved to Northants. And look, it looked great when India were playing Pakistan, but I was
Yeah.
watching the national anthems of, well, Rally Around the West Indies. There looked some very cold former West Indies greats who, it didn't quite capture the spirit of the
Yeah.
Caribbean, that's for sure. Anyway, you're out in India. Tell us a little bit about the reaction to that incredible second test win. I mean, that's off the scale as well, isn't it?
I mean, to be honest, a lot of people are calling that India started playing baseball. I thought India's playing gasball with Gambhir being out there in
Yeah,
the
man.
helms.
They wouldn't have done that under Dravid, would they?
I mean, again, it was very entertaining to watch. Brilliant brand of cricket. And again, it shows that if people change their mentality and if they want to play that sort of a attacking brand of cricket in test cricket, that is possible. Depending where you're playing, you can't do it in all conditions, but then there are conditions where that particular style of cricket is well suited.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because, all of us grew up watching, and for you playing first class cricket. These sorts of things happen in first class cricket all the time. There was a county game the other day where the two teams forfeited the second and third innings, right? They were just like, it's the only way we're going to get a game. We're going to do this. And, the old declaration bowling in county cricket, and, teams would often declare behind in shield cricket and first class cricket all around the world, because a lot of things have changed. The bats and white ball cricket and, baseball obviously played a part. These guys growing up in T20 cricket, all these different things. But the World Test Championship means you're playing 4 points. And specifically, we know that Kohli and Rohit are desperate to make that final. A draw to them wasn't exactly what they were looking for. And so they were willing to risk losing to try and get a win, which is not how Test cricket has been played for about 147 years.
Yeah, I think there's a shift in mentality, and which is also a very positive thing for Test cricket, because the way Test cricket is going, you want to make it more and more entertaining, and you want to get those people to come to the stadiums. And for India, that has been the biggest challenge, if you see, in the last 4 or 5 years, because of the IPL and the amount of money people spend on watching the IPL for those whole 2 months. A lot of people don't have that spare income, or even if they do have that spare money, they don't want to go and invest it in watching Test cricket. They rather wait for a T20 series. But if you play a brand of cricket like that, then that will get a lot of people into the stadium. And that's all what we want to see, because we love Test cricket more than any other format. So
Yeah.
as players and journalists, we want to see people coming and supporting Test cricket more than any other format.
One of I think Jarrod mentioned it. We were having a discussion with David Lloyd on Monday about underrated cricket grounds. And Jarrod was saying how there is a push from some quarters that India should play less Test cricket, or rather they should play Test cricket at less grounds. There should just be, like in England, there should just be like 6 grounds, right?
Yeah.
But I was watching that second day in Kanpur, and, they didn't get a lot of play. It might have even been day one, actually. It wasn't a weekend. It was rain affected. It looked pretty bleak. They were on and off the field. You knew that play was going to come to an end early, and yet the crowd were just crazy. There was such a good crowd, and as soon as you have that good crowd, it doesn't really matter what's on display. It does, but it just makes it relevant. It makes it interesting. And I suppose that's kind of what the Legends League is doing as well. I suppose I wouldn't say Campo's tier 2, tier 3. Maybe you would, but it just shows the importance of playing Test cricket, pushing it out there, but also at accessible grounds.
I think so. I think for India, the way they can bring more and more people into watching Test cricket is by doing it in these sort of cities. Not do it in Mumbai, Kolkata. Yes, you can have, if you're playing 4 Test matches, you can have one big venue like a Mumbai or a Bangalore or Kolkata. But the rest 3, they should go to smaller places where you know you're guaranteed 30, 40,000 people coming and watching, because they hardly get to see any cricket. And all these T20s and the IPL can be left for those bigger venues. So you'll always get that sort of a crowd in a place like Kanpur where you hardly ever see much cricket being played.
I'm pretty sure I heard Abby say no more cricket in Kolkata then. Was that his official stance?
No, I did not say no more cricket in Kolkata.
There's a clip for social media.
Yeah, if you're doing 4 or 5 Test match series with either England or Australia, South Africa, whoever, you can have 1 or 2 matches in the major cities and at least have 2 or 3 games in these smaller cities as well.
There's another argument here too as well of, if BCCI is going to play a game in Kanpur, they have to make sure that the facilities are up to scratch. And the problem with a lot of these smaller grounds is when it's sunny and whatever, you could play a Test match in somewhere like, Scarborough or Beckenham next week. The problem is weather and training facilities and all those sorts of things. The BCCI are going to make a decision to play in Kanpur. They need to make sure that the drainage is also at international level, which clearly it was not.
Yeah, I think a lot of India at the moment, we are in Surat for the last 1 week, and we have only managed to get 1 game in the Legends League. 5 games have been washed out. So it's a bit unfortunate. No one expected this rain to come out, and I think that's the reason when they scheduled all these games, they didn't really expect any rain.
Yeah.
Yes, your point is absolutely correct that they still have the drainage and they still have the facility, but I just think no one was prepared for it. Yeah.
What about that Test series with Bangladesh then? At the start of it, Jarrod and I went through all the teams and basically gave a kind of rating where they are and where they're going to get to. There was centuries for Gill and Pant in the first Test, and Rohit Sharma and Jaiswal got the sides off to a great start, and Kohli was there at the end of the second Test. The batting kind of answered. KL Rahul as well, of course. So that kind of all answered its own questions. Ashwin and Jadeja saved the Test match in the first Test. Bumrah did what Bumrah does.
Yeah.
The 2 interesting ones for me were Akashdeep, whose stock went up. Mohammed Siraj. There's the one that's always been the interesting one. Where do you sit with how his performances have stood up in those first 2 Test matches?
Yeah, I think he's got to do a bit better, because there are lots of players in the ranks in Indian cricket who are pushing him. And somebody like Akashdeep, who's been phenomenal in first-class cricket in the last few years for Bengal. He plays from Bengal. He's done really well. And hence, he's got an opportunity to play in the IPL. Did okay in the IPL. I wouldn't say he's been the world beater, but he's suited for red ball cricket. So if you ask me, Mohammad Siraj, yes, we know the quality he has. And he didn't perform badly. He performed pretty good. But it's just that I think he'll have to up his game when Mohammad Shami comes back into this fold again, which we are hoping it'll be very soon in Australia.
One question that I had, someone asked me this on one of my podcasts, which is, have we ever seen a 3 Test series of modern times where the result was so heavily predicted as India winning 3-0 against New Zealand? So obviously it hasn't happened. New Zealand could win 3-0, but it just feels like these Test matches have already been played and New Zealand has already lost them. India is so far ahead of everyone else at the moment. Bangladesh turned up with a pretty decent side. They bat to number 8. They had spinners who went in both directions. Their seam bowlers were on top of their games. And they still, after the first afternoon of the first Test, were never in that series.
Yeah, I think, again, especially when you're playing in India, it's so difficult to beat India. And also the quality of players and also them understanding their role. Now, with R. Ashwin and Jadeja, you won't find 2 better spinners in world cricket under these conditions. And you look at that batting order. I mean, you get one person out, and it's hard to get everyone out without cheaply and without not them scoring runs. So but New Zealand again can surprise you. That's what they do. whenever they play anywhere in any part of the world. Come ICC event, they always surprise you. They'll come for this test match. I know the prediction is 3-0, but I promise you they will surprise a lot of people in that test series.
Brilliant stuff. Abhishek, we'll let you go. I know you're flying off to watch the rain fall on another Legends League game somewhere in the world, but appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks so much. Thanks so much. And see you guys soon.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.